I'm Darlene. Welcome back to Super at 60. Last night, I guess it was right around after dinner time, we were kind of cleaning things up and I thought, you know what? I am in the mood for some good old homemade sourdough bread. I don't know about you, but with so many of us, I believe it was about last February, March, April, in that time period, we all got into this sourdough starter craze. I did. I was so guilty of it. But I actually got one started, and I still have her. I named her Sally Ann. And I have kept it off and on in the back of my refrigerator. When I didn't need it, I parked her in the refrigerator, and when I did need her, I took her out and gave her a good feeding, and she just bubbled right up. Always beautiful, always creamy, vanilla colored looking. So I know that Sally Ann's in good shape. So I did decide to go ahead and make some sourdough. I started it last night, so I'm gonna show you those clips. And then I'm gonna go ahead and finish it up. Now a sourdough bread does have to be made the night before, or at least 12 hours before. So try to time it around that time period in your life. For me, if I start making it before I go to bed, or before, like right after dinner-ish, it's usually 6:30, 7, somewhere in there. I'll go ahead and put it together. It's just so easy. And I hope that when you see my steps of making it, that you'll think that too. So, and then I cover it up and I let it go all night, and you're not doing anything. You're sleeping, hopefully. And during that time, your sourdough starter is doing its thing. And no yeast, there's no yeast in here. It's the actual yeast that you captured in the air during the time that you were creating your sourdough starter. There are so many sourdough starter videos on YouTube. Just go to one of them and you will find something that works for you. But I will give you a little clue. Every time I was searching through, and I would come across somebody who had the little weigh scale out, to scale your grams and whatnot. I turned that channel right away. I just wanted something simple. Cups, give me cups any day. Cups, teaspoons, that's what I need. That's how I cook. And I'm too old for that metric system, okay? I'm just too old. So anyway, after searching through many of them, I finally found several of them that were something that I thought was possible that I could do and keep up. So I just kind of created my own thing from that, and my own bread from that, and it works. It's got that, the taste. Well, that's what it's all about. It's all about the taste, okay? So that's where we're going today. And so I'm gonna share with you the rest of the way. This is the next morning, and we're gonna make sourdough bread. counter all ready. Yep, just like regular bread. Just a little bit of flour, you don't need a boatload. So here's my bread. I'm gonna unfold it for you. Ah, yeah, good rise, good rise. You saw the picture of what it looked like before I went to bed last night, and now you're seeing it this morning. At least double in size, if not a wee tad bit more. I'm not going to punch it down. I'm just going to kind of pull it from the sides. If you need a little flour in your fingers, just get some from the bench flour that you put out. Pull it gently. You don't want to get rid of all the bubbles and the gases that have formed in there. We're not punching it down like a regular yeast bread. It is a little bit different. All right, and we are, oh, this is such a perfect dough. Out onto the counter. Okay. The bowl's almost clean of dough. And that's exactly what you want. Right now we're gonna do what's called the stretch and fold. And when I first saw that, I thought, oh, that's ridiculous. You know, I don't think so. But you really do need it, and it really does help your bread. Right now, just fold it over a couple times. Our ultimate goal here is to create a little ball, and then we're just gonna let it sit and rest for a little bit. All right, so you stretch it, pull it over. Stretch it, pull it over. Yep, just do that just a few times, not too much. You can kind of feel the bread getting stronger and less sticky. It will slowly start to pick up some of this flour. Now that's not a ton of flour down there. You just don't need it. Oh, it's perfect. I can feel it under my fingers. Got gas bubbles in there. Everything is working. Okay, I'm gonna form it into a sweet little ball, just like this. Now this is starting to look and feel more like a regular yeast bread. I am so excited when this works, because there's no yeast in here. I didn't have to buy any yeast. I made my own, and you can do it too. All right, we have this nice little ball. Okay, and if we need to, we're just gonna let it sit right now. For a few minutes, we'll come back. We'll see what it looks like. So just put it right back in there. I'm gonna cover it up one more time. And I'll check it in about 10 minutes. Okay, it has been about 10 minutes since I last saw you, since we put the cover over the bowl, and I'm gonna turn it out onto the counter one last time, give it a good turn with the stretch and fold, form it into as tight of a ball as I possibly can, and then we're gonna put it in the Valentine basket. Valentine basket is this cute little thing. You may have seen it. You may even own one. I love putting my sourdough in here. It's just fun. It gives this nice, beautiful design on the bottom. And we're gonna let it sit for its second rise, anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. If it hasn't risen as much as you think it should after 3 hours, let it go for another hour. It's perfectly fine. It's very customizable, if you will. If you do not have a Valentine basket, this is a 9-inch, got it on Amazon, and I'm real happy with it. I really am. So you can use, and I've done this before I got my Valentine basket, just a bowl, I have a glass bowl here, and I took a towel. You just drape the towel over it. A lot of people suggest doing this, and it works. It does. Just punch it down, just like that. And this is where you're going to put your dough ball upside down. Again, put it upside down. So your seam side is what you're looking at on top. Give it a good cover, and this is what you're gonna let the second rise happen in, okay? For 2, 3, 4 hours, right in this little ball. And then I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do after that. So here she goes, after it's a little bit of a rest. See how it started to spread out just ever so slightly? Hope you can see that, these doggone lights. There you go. All right, so here we go, turning it out. Now my Valentine basket is well floured, I hope. That's always your prayer, I tell you, for this sourdough bread. Please let my Valentine basket be nice and floured so that it turns out nicely, you know, flips out nicely. Okay, so I'm just tucking. If it's turned out a whole lot, if it's flattened out a whole lot, then give it some more of those wonderful little stretch and folds. Stretch and folds. This is like magic for your sourdough breads. And it's so easy. Stretch and fold. Stretch and fold. I can feel it getting tighter. That's a real good thing. Okay, just a few times. You're not kneading it, you're just doing a stretch and fold technique. And it works. All right, now I'm gonna turn it over, a little more flour on it, and I'm gonna tuck, tuck, and tuck. Here's where you're forming a ball as tight as you can possibly get it. Tight, 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 tight. If you see any gas bubbles flying up there on the top, just give it a little pinch, just a little pinch with your finger, because you don't want that bubble baking up in the oven. At least I don't. My preference. Okay, exactly like this. All right, now I am gonna take my Valentine basket. I should just call it a basket. Okay, I'm gonna make sure, got a lot of flour in there. Please make sure that it is well floured. Okay. Round and round, look at that beautiful bottom on there. I think it's just so pretty. Looks like a little bee's hive. All right, there we go. Now we're gonna take our little bread, turn it upside down, seam side up. Okay, get it as tight as you can. Just put a little more flour on here. Okay. Pinch it, give it a good pinch, and into the bowl she goes, just like that. All right, and this time, oops, instead of covering with the shower cap, I am going to cover it with just a regular towel, okay? And here we go, I'm just gonna set it to the side. I probably put it on the back of my oven. It's not that it absolutely needs to have a nice warm spot to rise like your yeast breads, your sandwich slicing breads, but you don't want it freezing cold either. All right, before I leave you for this 2 to 3 hour rise, I want to show you what I just got. This is my yearly Valentine's treat, and I was so ecstatic this morning when my husband walked in the garage door with this. I know, ladies, most of the time you like flowers and roses and candy and jewelry and all that fun, beautiful stuff, and I like it too. But our Valentine's Day in our house is a tad bit different, always has been. And one thing that really just says, yeah, it's Valentine's Day, it's party day, it's fun day, is this. Aren't they beautiful? Oh, they just sparkle and shine. A whole dozen red balloons. And those will stay around for quite a while. They really will. That's why I love them so much longer than roses dying. I just love them. And thank you, thank you, thank you to my sweetheart, Lou. Okay, I'm gonna uncover my bread for you and show you just how beautiful she is. Really lovely, bouncy, a little bit of a jiggle to it. Just perfect. I'm gonna take my hands very carefully and just kind of stretch the sides just to make sure everything's gonna pull away nicely when I dump it over onto my parchment paper. I have this all here ready to go. You don't want to deflate it too much. Ladies and gentlemen, be very, very careful with the way that you handle it at this point. All right, right now, I'm gonna put my parchment this way. I'm gonna flip it over and just pray that it comes out. Might have to tap on the basket a bit, but we'll get it out. Oh, I think I heard a flop. That's a good thing. Oh my goodness, look at that. It could not be more perfect. Oh boy, that is what you want. Let me tip this just a little bit more so you can see it really, really well. Ah, yes. Success, bread success. Perfect. All right, let me see. I have a little bit of a pastry brush here. I think before I bake it, I'm just gonna very, very gently brush off a little bit of that excessive amount of flour right there. But that's no problem. If you do that, better to have more than to have it stick like crazy when you flip it over and it doesn't come out. Besides, we do want a little bit of that flour look. That's what gives it that artisan look that we're all looking for, that we work so hard for. This is beautiful, just beautiful. And now take a really, really sharp knife, or you can use a razor, that will work too. And you can do any kind of cool little design that you want. If I had a razor right now, I would probably do something a little extra special, but for now, since I just have this really sharp steak knife, I'm gonna try that and see if it works. I'm just gonna do, well, you could do like maybe let's try an X. Make sure it's deep enough. It will be okay. All right, beautiful. Yeah, it'll start to open up just a little bit. My cast iron pot is right here and ready. Let's move everybody down so you can see it all. I don't want you to miss a thing. Don't miss a step here. All right, so here goes my bread into my pot. Kind of like the crusty bread as far as putting the parchment paper down in there. All right, I'm gonna take it right now and put it into a 450 preheated oven for 20 minutes. And I can assure you that I will have my timer running. And then I'm gonna take the lid off and I'm gonna put it back in for another 20 to 30 minutes, depending upon how brown and crusty you want your sourdough loaf to turn out. Okay, the beeper just went off, so our 20 minutes is up. I'm gonna take the lid off our cast iron pan. Ooh-wee. Purdy. And back in she goes. Want to see it? Can you see it that way? Yeah. Now it's going in to get nice and crispy on the outside. We'll see in about 20 to 30 minutes, bread. All right, look at this bread. Look how beautiful she came out. I'm so proud of this bread. Look at the rise on this crazy bread. It's unbelievable. Yes, and look at the pretty markings that that gorgeous bowl made. Yep, it's like you just went to a bakery and bought it and came home with it. You would have spent a lot of money on it too, I can tell you that. Sourdough bread is not always cheap, not when it's done right. Oh yes. Oh, the smell is so fabulous. Just incredible. There we go. Look at it. Oh, it just smells like something you want to just slather with something yummy and pastrami sandwich or something really, really super special. Tonight I'm making egg salad and we're gonna have sourdough and egg salad sandwiches. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Yep, it's gonna be so good. Look at that darling little slice of bread. Okay, I'm going in. It's gonna take a little tiny piece of it because I don't want to eat too much of it. Oh, and the color of it is just beautiful. And that rise didn't come from one iota of yeast. Every bit of rise in here came from that absolutely beautiful Sally Ann sourdough starter. And you can make one too. It may take sometimes up to 2 weeks to get it fully started, but you can do it. Oh boy. All right, come on. Let's just talk about this. All right, you know the taste of sourdough, right? It's sour, yet light. The bread is soft and chewy. It just excites me, okay? When I see a loaf of bread like this and no yeast went in it, I just think that is a beautiful thing. It truly is. Do you know that I think I read somewhere that this sourdough bread dates back to like 5,000 BC? Yeah, 5,000 BC. It was the very first unleavened bread ever recorded. Now, I read that. I don't have absolutely proof of that, but I read it in more than one place, if that helps. All right, well, that's our dinner tonight. Yeah, we're gonna sit down and eat a loaf of bread with a great big stick of butter. No, I'm just kidding. We are gonna have egg salad sandwiches on that, and it's gonna be delicious because the inside is so soft and so wonderful. Well, here's where it all began, right here, my little Sally Ann, one of my greatest friends in the kitchen. And she works. She's beautiful and bubbly, and their color is gorgeous. And right now, because I'm done with her now for a little bit, I'm gonna just put her way back in the refrigerator, and I won't even need to really check in on her for at least 2 weeks. And I will tell you a little secret. I once let her go for about 4 months. Yeah, I did. I didn't even check on her. It was terrible. I was so embarrassed. And it had this little black, kind of gray water liquid that grows on the top. That is perfectly and completely natural. You can do one of two things with that. You can pour it out in your sink, which I do, or you can just mix it right back into your starter, and it will be just fine. It's a natural thing that comes from a sourdough. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Sourdough is a beautiful thing. I want you to make a loaf of sourdough bread yourself. Try a starter. You'll love it. You can do it. Bye now.